Hello Conversation Club, this is John and welcome to our next lesson. So today we are going to have a conversation about inventions. So what exactly is an invention? An invention is a unique or novel device, method, composition, or process. So invention, Azerbaycan dilinde ihtiradır. So also it's something new, or an improvement of something that already exists. So bir yeni şeydir yoksa bir şeyin yakışılaştırması. An invention is something that could help improve your life or make things easier. So now that you know what an invention is, let's do this warm-up question. What are the best and most useful inventions of the 20th and 21st centuries? So, in the past 100 or 200 years, what are the best inventions, in your opinion? So take a few minutes and write down some inventions that you know about from the past 100 or 200 years. And then when you're ready, you can come back. Alright, so maybe you said some of the things that are on the screen right now. There's television. Television is a really important invention. It makes it easier for everyone to see different things in the world, even if they can't go to those places. Also, you can watch the news and stay informed. And it's a form of entertainment. And then next is the first airplane. So airplane was a really important invention. Without airplanes, we wouldn't be able to travel to the other side of the world in such a short amount of time. Before airplanes, people had to take ships and boats and trains across the country and across the world, and it took so long. But now, with airplanes, we can get from Asia to Europe really fast. And then, of course, the telephone. Telephone is a really important invention. We can talk to people whenever we want, wherever we want, and it makes communication a lot easier. It makes business easier. It makes everything easier in life. And then also, you can see medicine. In the past 200 years, there's been a lot of new medicines, right? You can say innovations in medicine, or new medicine, new vaccines. Medicines like this help people live a lot longer, because 200 years ago, when there wasn't so much medicine, people didn't live so long. But now, when people get sick, they can take medicine and help them survive longer. Also, modern cars. Cars these days are pretty nice. You can drive fast, they're safe, they're more reliable. And then computers. Of course, computers and the internet right here, we have Wi-Fi symbol. Computers and the internet are some of the most important things in the modern world. Almost everyone needs a computer these days, and it's essential for communication. And then we have smartphones or cell phones. So in the past 10 or 15 years, smartphones have become one of the most essential things for daily life. Almost everyone these days has a smartphone with access to the internet. You can connect it to Wi-Fi. You can take pictures, videos. You can send text messages, SMS messages, WhatsApp. You can call people like a telephone. You can FaceTime or do video chat. So past 10, 20 years, I think the smartphone has become one of the most important things. You can't go a day without your phone, right? Alright, so now we have a little activity here, and you guys can practice saying the years. So you're going to see a list of things here. These are different inventions, and you're going to try to guess what year this was invented. So for example, I don't know the correct answer, but let's say the internet, right? We have the internet as the first thing. You're going to guess what year it is. So onun iktiraf ettiğin yıl tahmin etmelisiniz. So the internet, which year was it invented? I'll say maybe 1985. 1985. So I don't know if that's right, but I'm just going to guess so I can practice saying the year. But try to do your best. See if you can guess the right year, and then we'll go over the answers. And before you guess, let's talk about some of these things. I think you all know what the internet is, but light bulb. Do you know what a light bulb is? It's this lampa. It's what you use to light up your house, or you turn on the lights. Telephone, you know. Refrigerator, you probably know. Soyuducu, refrigerator. Braille. What is Braille? Braille is how blind people can read. So kor insanlar için okumak. So you can see here A, B, C, D. So you can touch it and you can feel which letter it is. So blind people can read. Thermometer, it's to measure temperature. Microscope, you can see tiny things like bacteria. Printing, look, this is the first, so basically the first printer. So chop olmak için. So they can print, this is the first printer, they printed things on like newspapers. Paper, kagaz, and the wheel. The wheel is right here, teker, one of the oldest inventions. So now I want you to guess the year this was invented, and you can practice saying the date or the year out loud. And then when you're ready, you can come back and we'll look at the answers. Alright, so here are the correct answers for each invention's year. So look at the answers. Did you get any right? Or were you close to any? Alright, so let's practice saying these dates out loud together, these years out loud together. So the first one, 1969. 1969. The second one, 1906. 1906. Next, 1876. 1876. Then for refrigerator, 1850. 1850. Braille, 1829. 1829. Thermometer, 1593. 1593. Microscope, 1590. 1590. Printing, 1440. 1440. Paper, 100. 100. And then the wheel, around 3500 BC. So what does this year mean? This is different from the rest of them. BC. So whenever you see the word or the letters BC after a year, it means before the year 0. So you see paper was invented in year 100. That's close to 0. So there was a year 0. So whenever you say BC, it means 3,500 years before 0. So before the Common Era. And around 3,500 BC, why do I say around? Because people don't know the exact year. So they are taking a guess. They are estimating. So Tahmin etmek around 3,500 BC. Alright, so now I want you to choose one invention from the list and talk about its positive and negative effects. So you can choose one of these that you're interested in, and you can say a reason why it's positive for the world and another reason why it could be negative for the world. So you can do that, and when you're ready, you can come back. Alright, so which one did you choose? I chose the internet, and I'll tell you one reason why it's positive for the world is because it helps people connect and communicate better, and you can learn a lot about anything you want. And another reason why the internet could be negative is because people might see fake information. So it's easy to spread false information, and people can get confused, and people can get in trouble. People can use the internet for bad things. So that's one negative thing about it. So what about you? What did you think? Alright, so now let's talk about what is an inventor. So an inventor is just a person who invents something. So if you ever invented something, then that means you're an inventor. So do you know any famous inventors, and what were their inventions? You can try to make a list of people you know who invented something and then come back when you're ready. Alright, so I'm going to talk now about some famous inventors. So this is Thomas Edison. He is an American scientist and inventor. He was born in 1847 and died in 1931. So do you know what his most famous invention is? Can you take a guess? It was the light bulb. He invented the light bulb, and now almost everyone in the world uses light bulbs in their houses. Alright, here's the next inventor. So his name is Alexander Graham Bell, and he was born in 1847 and died in 1922. And can you take a guess what his most famous invention is? You can use his last name as a hint. So he invented the telephone. This right here is the first telephone. So his last name is Bell, so it's like ringing. Alright, and here's another American inventor. His name is Henry Ford, and he was born in 1863 and died in 1947. So can you guess what his most famous invention is? Take a look at his last name and think of what company this might be. Right here, the Ford car, and also the production line. So he invented this type of car, and his company Ford, and he invented the factory that can make the cars a lot quickly, called the production line. So you can see here, all the cars are lined up, and all the parts are put on one at a time. Alright, here's another inventor. Her name is Fatima al-Fikri, and she was born in the year 1800 and died in 1880. So can you try to take a guess? What is her famous invention? What is she known for? She started something really important that all of you probably know about today, and you probably use this and go to this place all the time. So she invented and started the world's first degree-granting university. So because of her, we now have universities all over the world. She started the first university that grants a accredited degree. And this university was the University of Al-Qarawiyyin in Fez, Morocco, or Marrakesh. So this was the first degree-granting university. Alright, and now Steve Jobs. You probably have heard of him before. He was born in 1955 and died in 2011. So do you know what his most famous invention is, or some of his famous inventions? It was Apple products. So he invented new types of computers and new types of smartphones, watches, and tablets, and all of this type of stuff. And now all over the world people use his products. Alright, and here's another inventor. His name is Al-Zahrawi. And he was born in 963 and died in 1013. So long time ago. And do you know what he's known for? What his most famous invention or innovation is? He is known as the father of modern surgery. So he actually started to do new types of surgery and invented different procedures and processes of surgery that we still use today as a basis. So he is pretty much the guy who started doing like open surgeries and medical procedures like that. So surgery is cerrahia. Alright, so which inventions do you use the most? So from your life, think of the different inventions that you use all the time, and talk about which ones you use the most. And also, are there any inventions that you couldn't live without? Like, could you live without internet? Could you live without your phone? So telefonunsiz yaşayabilirsiniz. So take a few minutes to think about that, and then come back when you're ready. Alright, so what about TV? Does everyone here watch TV? How often do you watch TV? So talk about TV and how this invention affects your life. And when you're ready, you can come back. Alright, now we'll talk about the internet, probably one of the most important inventions in all of our lives. So I have a few questions for you to consider. What role does the internet play in your life? And how many hours a day are you online? And then the next question, how long could you go without the internet? So could you go maybe 1 or 2 days without going on the internet? Or how long? So answer these 3 questions, and then come back and we'll talk about the next questions. Alright, so what did you guys say about how the internet plays a role in your life? Is it really important for you or not so much? Alright, so now we'll look at this question. Imagine that tomorrow all of the world's computer systems stopped working and there was no longer internet. So, tasavvur edin ki sabah Computerler ve internet işlemeyecek. Ne ederdin? So how would the world be? What would happen and what would you do? So try to talk about this. If everything in the world stopped working, like with the internet and computers, what would you do? What would happen to the world? And just try to think of some answers. And after you finish that, we can go to the last question. Overall, do you think the internet is good or bad, and why? Alright, so now let's talk about bad inventions. So everyone knows there's some inventions that are good and some inventions that are bad. And maybe people have different opinions. So right here you can see nuclear bomb. That a lot of people think this is a really bad invention because it can kill lots of people and it's very dangerous. So what is your opinion? What do you think is the worst invention or the most evil invention? So take a few minutes and think about this and then come back when you're ready. Alright, now let's talk about future inventions. So can you name some inventions that you are looking forward to? So something that doesn't exist yet, but you think will exist in the future. So for example, human cloning, or time traveling, or eternal life pill, which is like a medicine that can make you not die, or vaccines for cancer, or teleportation, which means you can go from one place to another place in like 1 second. Like you can go from America to China for 1 second. So what are some future inventions that you want and that you are looking forward to? Alright, now let's talk about time machines. So do you think time machine will ever be invented? So what is a time machine? It's a machine that you can travel from one time to another. So you can go to the past, the present, or the future. Would you like to do some time traveling? And if so, what time would you like to visit, or what historical event would you like to see? So talk about this. Think about some time that you want to see and why you want to see it. And then when you're ready, you can come back. Alright, so what about this? Do you believe that one day people will live on the moon and on other planets? So do you think maybe in the future someone will invent some new scientific devices and we can go live on a different planet or on the moon? And why is it not possible today? Alright, and now what would you invent if you were a scientist? So pretend that you have a lot of scientific knowledge and you're really smart and you can invent whatever you want. So try to think of something that you would invent, maybe something that can help people or something that can make you rich or whatever you want to do. And then after that, let's answer the next questions. Have you ever invented something in your life? Or do you have any ideas for any new inventions? Alright guys, so that's the end of the presentation, and I hope you got some good English practice and that you can come to the conversation club. Alright, bye.